Hello, everybody. It's your old buddy Josh hanging out. Harry's in the house. About time Harry shows up on time. We got pulverizer. I got notification this time. Damn, I was hoping they would not get the notification. Damn. Model someone quitting work at 60 with one pension at 16,000, 400,000. That's pretty good. All right, there you go. That's a pretty good one there. Pulverizer. Let me write this down. That's a pretty good one. So we got 60. Single, I presume. He's got 16,000 pension, 400K IRA, 150,000 in Roth. Cash equals 240. Oh, wait. Cash, I don't get it. You got cash equals 240, then you got cash equals 200. Another pension starts at 65. That, oh, here we go. That pension pays 14K a year. So you got 450 cash. Okay. All right, this will be easy. 30K Social Security. Pension pays. So you got two pensions, one at 65 and one at 60. That's not even worth modeling, man. That's easy. That's freaking. They got 60,000 a year from their pension and Social Security. You only need. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that one. That's easy. They only need 10,000 a year from their $1 million portfolio. That's not good. That's easy. That's easy. Drewski's in the house. Have you thought about a third channel that shows your first videos from the beginning? Yeah, no, I repost my old videos on my Josh Scanlon channel, just by basically in terms of I just throw them up there on views essentially. Jeez, I can't think. And so now I'm in the end near the end of 2024. So what I'll probably do on the Josh Scanlon channel is just recycle everything from the old days. Exactly. When I even have my suit and tie on. But then people say they get pissed like, oh, you think I don't know. I said, dude, this is a repost from 2019. Oh, so you think, but I'm just like, oh, this, but no, that's a good idea. I mean, Miles. I mean, hell, Kitsis does this. He regurgitates his old blog posts, which I find very informative because I don't read all that crap. You know what I'm saying? So I do it, and I get paid. I don't get paid a huge amount, but hey, man, you know, a couple $100 a month, $200 a month for you, Drewski, up there in Minnesota with the Somalians. You know, a couple $100 a month. That ain't much for you guys because you got to take care of all those Somalians. But for us down here in the real world, couple $100 a month means something. Riley. Okay. Oh yeah, Riley. Yeah, exactly. Let's do it live. Exactly. Look at Jamie's in the house. All right. Jamie looks like he's grabbing on a thing there. Howdy. Howdy says this guy. Oscar, look. Bruce. What's up, Bruce? I would still watch them. Well, of course, Drewski, because you like my pearly yellows. CB, Charlie. Too hot in the Philippines. Perfect 70 degrees in northern Michigan. 100%, man. Anyone else out there pre-Medicare doing a Roth conversion to reduce Maggie and maximize? Well, you don't want to be doing Roth conversions to maximize ACA subsidies unless that's your only income. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So a couple of things I want to do before we get started. I thought it'd be fun. Is I was looking at this. Hold on a second. I wanted to go to where is it going? I thought it'd be fun to look at what BlackRock is doing now. All right, let's look at old BlackRock. Hey, what's up, Ted? Touchdown, Ted. Terrible Ted. I thought it'd be fun to see what BlackRock and Wellington are doing now. So we're gonna go to BlackRock.com and see what their homepage looks like. And so remember, a few years back, during the height of the St. George Floyd stuff, you know, BlackRock was black. They had black freaking things on their whatever that black triangle, not triangle. The whole thing was just so freaking stupid, dude. It was so obvious what was happening. And BlackRock had all their freaking DEI crap, the ESG crap, the freaking solar panel crap. Just evil scumbags, man. Evil scumbags. Yeah, if you're retired in 2023, what is this crown thing in the chat? If you're retired in 2020, I mean, if you're retired and you're under the rule of 55, you definitely don't want to be doing Roth conversions, man. I mean, Roth conversions aren't going to help you get subsidies for Obamacare. No way. Just live off your 401k for sure. Something that started I don't know what the crown. There's a crown thing in here. I don't know. I'm not sure what the crown thing is. Anyway, so BlackRock's, it's just they fell for the. I mean, they like, man. At the end of the day, it was all fake. Everything was fake about the whole George Floyd thing. Everyone knows it. Whatever that cop is shouldn't be in jail. We all know this. Everybody knows this. It's crazy to think otherwise. It's like the Michael Brown hands up, don't shoot thing. This is so fake. The Trayvon Martin thing, so fake. The only thing that wasn't fake was the Eric Garner one, and there was probably some fakery in there too. But Eric Garner was killed for selling individual cigarettes, and that's ridiculous because that's the mayor of New York City said you can't buy whatever it was. This is insane. But anyways, BlackRock is probably buying Gaza for future condos. Yeah, I completely agree. I agree. But anyway, so let's look at BlackRock, and I find this funny. You see, our small caps, summer 10 chart, stable coins look here to stay. Funds that match up with investing goals, digital assets, commodities, cash. I mean, this is on the front page. Bonds, stocks, nothing about friggin' DEI, nothing about friggin' Black Lives Matter, nothing about trans, nothing. It's just what it's supposed to be. And we'll go back to this, right? And you can see they got a little bit down here, our approach to sustainability. But even here is like BlackRock, about BlackRock. You click on this guy. You don't see anything about DEI crap. It's just, the whole thing is just so fake. I mean, just, why do white people fall for this? White people are the ones that got to stand up against this crap. Because, everyone else, no one's gonna. I mean, what I mean by that, if you're not white, you should stand up against it too. But white people are the one who say, oh my goodness, I'm so guilty. We're so guilty. So let's go about BlackRock. And you can see there's some whatever. We're fiduciary, blah, blah, blah. Recognize, you don't see anything about DEI crap. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what does BlackRock do? Well, we punish Americans. We make their real estate more expensive. We support financial anyway. So just freaking setting the record straight. Let's see what the record is on BlackRock. So let's take a look at that. They're setting the record straight, everybody. BlackRock's going to set the record straight. Hey, Jill, what's up? Old Jill. Here's Clint. What's up, Clint? Read our latest announcement statements. Press Clint. Now, be careful. Clinton is in here, and Clint, he's like a big Kamala fan. Clint's like, I'm with her. No, that's Hillary. Clint says, I'm a white guy for Kamala. That's what Clint said. I'm a white guy for Kamala. When that was, I'm a white guy for Kamala. Here's Richard. I worked 11 years with low wages, paying the Social Security. By full retirement age is 67. Okay. I don't get HY. I don't get it. I worked 11 years, low wages, paying the Social Security. My full retirement age is 67 HY. Okay. I don't get it. Really enjoyed your video earlier this week that showed the number of 20% down here is eye-opening. Yep, 100%. And see, now Clint's got to back off for his white guys for Kamala thing. He says, no, look, I'm not a white guy for Kamala, I'm a black guy for Kamala. Just goofed on you, Clint. I just had a good conversation with Clint the other day, so Clint's crushing. Ghetto bodegas selling single cigarettes is commonplace. A single cigarette is called the Lucy. Exactly what I'm saying. And that should not be illegal. It's just so stupid. Anyway, so here's BlackRock. Let's see here. Setting the record straight. As one of the leading asset managers, BlackRock is committed to being scumbags, is proud to serve our pension funds, our job, the fiduciary, blah, 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 energy, our focus on energy investing, how we consider climate risk. So yeah, they're getting nervous here. And here, Larry Stink, freaking Larry Stink. It just sucks. I hate these guys. I know I shouldn't hate, but I can't stand it. Get the facts, because what we told you before about we all got to go to green energy. The energy industry plays a crucial role in the economy, Despite these investments, BlackRock has recently been accused of boycotting oil and gas companies. Nothing could be further from the truth. Shut the hell up, you scumbags. You know what you were doing. You know what you're doing. Did you all see, by the way? Oh, I got to show you. This is crazy. Did y'all see BlackRock? You know what you're doing. You're telling the friggin' energy companies if you want BlackRock, because BlackRock voted for using the proxy votes to basically advocate ESG crap. Everybody knows this. You might have not done it as explicitly as you should have, scumbags, but you know what you're doing. You had your proxy votes for all the millions of people who have BlackRock in their 401ks who can't vote their shares, and they give you the proxy and you have to vote them. And so as such, you're telling these energy companies, do this, do that, do that. What's up, Dan or Don? I'm sure Clint's already ordered 107 days. Oh, Ted, man, Ted's starting to fight with you, Clint. And Ted's from Cincinnati. So Ted, Ted's was at that Cincinnati Jazz Fest, and he was part of the problem. Was old Ted, where the mayor's like, look, we got other things to worry about than seeing what's going on. The white girl got smacked by a man. Dude, look, man, we got to get the gallows back. Look, for a while there, I tinkered with the idea of being anti-death penalty because I don't trust the government as far as I could kick them. But at the end of the day, we got to start having people swing again. Everybody knows this. You got to start swinging. Just all there is to it. Oh, but it brings back memories of 150 years ago. I don't care. I don't care. We have white people swinging too. Don't bother me at all. We just need to have bad people swinging, man. That's on fire. Ted's on fire. He is. Ted's like, hey, I'm at a Cincinnati Jazz Festival. And there's a lady who said no to me. But Ted, because you're white, the government's going to come at you like friggin' stink on crap as such. So you're not going to get a free pass. So just FYI. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, BlackRock sucks donkey balls. Everybody knows they do. We know what they're doing. Anyway, I got to find this thing. Let's see if I can't find it. Oh, where was it? It's about the Vanguard proxy votes and the chick who's in charge of the Vanguard proxy votes. Let's see if I can't find this. The mayor blamed the bartenders and not the assailants. And then they had some black priest, a black pastor on there saying, if they walked in our shoes, or how come no one talks about it if it's black on black crime? I said, I've been trying to talk about black on black crime for years. No one cares because it's not a white perp. To include you there, pastor clown. And that guy, the Cincinnati mayor, had that pastor on there at the same time he's doing a press conference to talk about the attempted murders of these white people. And the mayor, the pastor was like, no one cares if it's black on black. I said, yeah, no, you're right, because you don't care. Because the only right time you care is if it's a white perp. That's it, you freaking clown. Anyway, let me see if I can't find this here, because this was crazy. Dude, really pissed me off about Vanguard. So let me just see if I can't find this. It doesn't shock me, but it really, I was like, dude, that's it. I don't want that. Okay, here we go. I was like, whoa. Okay, it's not okay. So it's not on LinkedIn. By the way, the thing with Sydney Sweeney, the jeans thing. Sydney Sweeney's not that hot. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, she's not that good looking, but I mean, she's certainly better looking than some friggin' monster. Anyway, the thing with Sydney Sweeney though. What's Sydney Sweeney's initials? Sydney Sweeney's initials are what? SS. Need I say more? Need I say more? American Eagle. You partnered with a girl who's white, who's got initials that say SS. Proof's in the pudding. American Eagle apparently supporting, allegedly, Nazis. Because SS. Look, don't blame me. I'm just a truth teller, man. Sydney Sweeney, SS, huh? Let's see here. I want to go to, where did I go to? Hold on just a second. You guys see that. I'll put marks right there. It's got to be on here. Yeah, oh, dude, this is freaking crazy. All right, check this out. So, yeah, I don't think she's good looking at all, man. Yeah, Cincinnati used to be one of the last big cities with a Republican governor. I think it's just Fort Worth now. Isn't that crazy? Maybe because Republicans said, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. I don't want to live around in these places. Sydney Sweeney has no curves, needs a BBL. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what BBL is. American Eagle supposed to be started by Jewish family. I don't know. I also know American Eagle also has this thing called something else, which is very dude, it's so stupid. I forgot what it was, but I looked up American Eagle advertisement 2019 to 2025. And then something else came up there with these like just completely woke spinsters that just are so ugly and so oh my goodness, Brazilian bee lift. Okay, I don't know. I knew she was up to something. Exactly, 100%. Dano. I mean, look, SS wasn't an SS fan until she's. All right, so check this out. That's Ethan. I just don't, she doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't. Anyway, so check this out. Here's Robbie Starbuck on LinkedIn, what's this, X. Why is one of the largest asset managers in the world letting a woke lunatic run their proxy voter? The thread below lays out how crazy she is. She's using other people's money to push left-wing values into public companies. State Street must act now to end this political. Oh, this is State Street, not Vanguard, but still the same thing. This is proxy voting. State Street is letting an inexperienced radical progressive activist run their multi-trillion-dollar voting machine. Her background, not finance. She's head of asset stewardship for the Americans at State Street. This is some chick named. What was this chick's name? Let's click on this. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I guarantee she's some rich clown. Let's see. Holly is head of, what the hell's her name? Holly something? Not me. Holly Fetter. Holly is head of asset stewardship for the Americans at State Street. Translation, she tells companies how woke they need to be or else State Street will vote against them. Exactly. Holly landed the job basically right out of Harvard Business School, where she studied reimagining capitalism and said she was reminded of the deep connections between capitalism and slavery. This isn't a portfolio manager. It's an activist with a proxy card. I guarantee Holly, what's her name, Fetter, I guarantee her parents are big, big liberals, big money. I bet she went to like freaking whatever those fancy high schools are. Before that, she worked at MTV's Social Impact Team, the Ford Foundation, a progressive labor group. No investing experience, no real world experience, just progressive activism dressed up as stewardship. Holly once literally wrote an essay titled Coming Out as Rich Kids, exactly, where she unpacked internalized racism, ableism, and classism. She's a rich girl. Then urged other wealthy kids to give away their money to advance progressive causes. So why the hell is she in State Street? At State Street, she helped launch their gender quota campaign, targeting companies that didn't hit her gender quotas. She also pushed for discriminatory DEI thing. Of course she did. You know she's gay as the day is long. Look at her. I mean, she's freaking talk about ugly. Holly isn't managing assets. She's managing you. Your votes, your savings, your future. This isn't fiduciary duty. It's political capture, and it's happening with your money. Yep. Let's look up Holly. What's her name? Holly Fetter. Let's look her up on LinkedIn and see what old Holly's up to on LinkedIn. Freaking, that wasn't Vanguard. That was State Street, SSGA. So the big three are State Street, BlackRock, and Vanguard. And they all can basically pound saying, let's look up Holly Fetter on LinkedIn. How evil she is. This is evil, man. These people are evil, 100%. And they need to freaking go to jail for being evil, 100%. Can't have evil. Holly Fetter. Let's look up old Holly here. I guarantee. Oh man, we don't have any Holly Fetter here. Is it HO? Yeah, right here. Here she is. All right, sweet. Freaking, I can't stand these rich kids, man. Progressive rich girls are the worst, 100%. Yep, she can get by on the old man's money. Hey, Mark Carney, just hanging out with the Ted in Maine while I hide from the Canadians. Oh, you because all right, you're hanging out with Ted up there, Mark. Yeah, that's pretty cool. She can get by on the old man's money. She's a rich girl. All right, let's look up old Holly's freaking LinkedIn here. Dude, Horrible. How do these people get these jobs? Oh boy, we're doing this again. The Einstein, the Epstein list. Dude, do we have to? All right, Ace, come on. This is getting ridiculous. We don't know. We all want them to release the Epstein list. Stop acting like all of a sudden you give two craps about the Epstein list. You don't. Liberals didn't care. They didn't care. Stop. I'm going to ban you if you keep this up because it's just embarrassing. We've talked about this 1,000 times a Sunday. Every single MAGA guy in the world wants the Epstein list released. Every single guy. If Trump's on there, we want it released. We don't care. It's the people on the left who did not want it released. In fact, the irony of all ironies is if Trump was actually on there in some capacity, Biden and Snippy Joe could have released it and really destroyed Trump. But he didn't. You know why? Because they're all on the damn list. They're all on it. They're all scumbags. Every single one of these freaking clowns. In fact, Bill Gates is probably out there. Someone, I don't know if she wants me to name her, but someone on this chat right here is telling me that there's the new conspiracy, which is pretty interesting. I share it with my wife, is that Bill Gates, he likes being genetics, like basically making, mosquitoes and all that stuff, right? Well, what if Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein were down there in Epstein Island trying to make babies? Not making babies by getting jiggy with it, but making babies with genetics. You ever thought about that? Yeah, because Bill Gates is a scumbag. You ever thought about that? So what Bill Gates and Epstein were down there, not just trying to get jiggy with little girls, but actually making little girls that they could. I'm just throwing it out there. Who knows? Oh, because Trump ran on it. He should release it. Oh, my goodness, because Ace was so concerned about the Epstein list of the election. Ace was so concerned. Ace was so concerned about the Epstein list. Trump ran on it. Oh, my goodness. I remember, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. Kind of funny. Ace, you're out of here, buddy. Sorry. Just can't take it. Can't take it. Just as stupid. Look, dude. Don't be stupid. Stop the episode. It's just really, look, what I'm saying. It's the liberals. They don't care. It's so embarrassing, man. I'm just like, oh, can you guys just have any sense of just being normal for once? Ace. The only thing Ace is good at is being an ace of how to get boys to, I don't know, freaking, who knows? I don't know. Freaking, I had something in my head and it fell off and I was like, damn, I don't know what I was going to say. To play baseball. I don't know. I wasn't going to say that, but I still give a crap about it. I do. I want the Epstein thing released 100%. But there's no freaking list. The whole point is there isn't a list like Santa's list. Santa opens, Trump, you're on the Epstein list. They're all scumbags, dude. 100%. 100%. And they're all on there. Every single one of these guys. But the issue isn't that Mossad controls everything or freaking the M15 in England or CIA stuff. They all do. They all. It's not just the Israelis. It's not just the Brits. It's not just the U.S. CIA. They're all in on it. 100%, all of them. And we're not controlled by democracy. We're controlled by these intelligence agencies. And so if the Epstein list release would get us advance that ball, isn't it funny, too? Because Trump did release the Kennedy files. And there was not that much. There was a lot on there, a lot more than we were told before. But nothing has been done. Nothing can be done with the Epstein list. It's just, this whole thing right here. Trump was never at the island. Even Dershowitz, who saw the court records, won't release. Who saw the court records, the Dem New York judge won't release it. Good point. Good point, Ted. All right, right on. All right, so Ted, wow, Ted's telling me to freaking shut the hell up. Right on, I appreciate it. All right, so let's go back to Holly. Oh, dude, this chick is so freaking heinous. Yeah, you can't argue with left-wing people. All right, here's Holly Fetter. Oh, does it get any worse than that? Look, she's like 10 years old. Holly Fetter, how the hell did she land this job, dude? She joined the team in 2020 after receiving her MBA from Harvard Business School. She began her career at Ford Foundation. Dude, she has a BA in comparative studies in race and ethnicity and a master from sociology. Dude, this is who is running the asset stewardship? This is insanity, dude. And she was an intern. What? And she's, dude, you gotta be kidding me, man. Well, you gotta be kidding me, dude. There's capital. This just freaking is infuriating. Did y'all see that? Yeah. State Street manages by pension. Dude, this is freaking crazy. What the hell? She has a BA degree in freaking. Let me just do this real quick. Bid! Hush! LinkedIn. Let me go back to X and just post that. This is crazy. She's running the proxy votes with a BA in race. Dude, how much money do you have to get your stupid daughter? And she's probably freaking 10 years old. That wasn't Pablo. That was Finnegan. How dare you? Yeah, exactly. Been sealed since 2018. And why wasn't it released? State Street manages your pension. Yeah. Oh, dude. What a freaking scumbag. I can't stand people. Oh, but Josh, you're making me you're making me uncomfortable in your right-wing politics. Yeah, well, guess what? The days are over where I've always been like this, but let me just post this on here. Hold on a second. Dude, what a scumbag. And this is supposed to be capitalism. This ain't capitalism, dude. 100% DEI hire. Yeah, didn't earn it. 100% did not earn it. All right, well, she sucks donkey balls, so she can kiss my big fat behind. All right, so let's keep going here. All right, so next, and I wanted to look at what Wellington, because BlackRock has definitely moved on, at least externally. Let's see about Wellington, because remember, I was doing a live stream. We looked up Wellington, and they had DEI over the front page, and that's where I said, I can't believe this. Wellington, freaking the Bogle and the guy before Bogle. I can't remember his name. The guy who mentored Bogle. They got to be rolling in their graves. I couldn't believe it. And so let's take a look at Wellington, their website here, because it was just DEI everywhere. I was like, dude, what the hell happened, man? Like, who are these people? Why? I mean, anyway. So here's Wellington. All right, so we can see here, and we're gonna come to unique perspectives from Wellington. So that's pretty much the same. Some weirdos, and we come down here, learn more about our company. All right, same kind of things here. Private alternatives, featured content, the Well Said podcast, meet the fund manager, deepest commitment to wealth channel with senior leadership, another chick. You can see, and not much in terms of DEI stuff on the front page. Last time there's tons of DEI stuff. So I was kind of surprised to see that. I was like, wow, okay. Well, let's learn more about our company, because I guarantee it's still in here someplace. So let's take a look. This Wellington, they got sustainability in there. Stewardship and ESG integration, sustainable theme investing, climate investing, thriving communities, effective operational awards, about us. Yeah, there's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Look at these people. That's the same picture they've had for years. So they haven't really changed their website that much here. I can see that a mile away. They're using pretty much the same website they did before, but they have at least on the front page, not made it as woke as what it was before, which is good. All right, so who we serve. I had right here, moving to APAC. Let's see here. I thought this was kind of funny, though. Hold on a second. I did see something. Yeah, so they didn't really have a whole lot about DEI unless you clicked on this, whereas before it was right on the front page. That kind of cracked me up. So let's see our DEI crap. We are unwavering in our belief in the power of differences and inclusivity. I guarantee they're not unwavering in the power of differences. I guarantee. Speaking of St. Louis, you see the guy who was kicked out of a St. Louis stupid soccer game because he has MAGA hat on, and all these fools flying the freaking gay flags were allowed there, but he was kicked out of a St. Louis soccer game because he has MAGA hat on, and yet you could fly the gay flags. I said, oh, that's weird. I don't. And then St. Louis apparently got taxpayer money for that team too. So yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at So okay, global allies. They got Pride. Learn more. Pride officers, LGP and Alphabet Mafia, to support personal growth and professional development. Okay, who cares? No one cares. That's so 2010s. They got inclusion and cultural awareness, whatever the 4 C's are, next gen, connections, disabilities, becoming allies. How do you become an ally? And then we got, I don't know what the hell upstanders are. Then we got at least a veterans thing. All right, so these guys suck donkey balls, but not nearly as bad as what it was. So we got women in finance, 30% club path to parity. I guarantee that's about the wage difference between men and women. Well, if you want to get paid more women, then go work harder jobs. All right. Black Business Awards, Black Opportunity Fund. Oh boy, Boston's Women's Workforce Council, CEO of Action to Inclusion. Blah, 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 blah. It's just the whole thing's just so freaking stupid. Hey, at least have one veteran thing. Hey, LGBT, great. Oh, why is there no? Oh, there is a T in there. Oh, how about no Q's, huh? Out and equal. Look at that, dude. They got all kinds of things. Dude, it's just so dumb. Anyway, they all suck. They all can kiss my butts. The problem is, this is not what look. Capitalism is a joke. It's actually, we want entrepreneurship is what we're shooting for. Capitalism sucks. In terms of this is corporatism for sure. Kind of like someone asks you to review this proposal and give me a list of unknowns. We should anticipate I'll need that by the end of the day. Activist investors will have the board of directors drop all the DEI at the stock and profitability drops. I don't think so. I don't think money matters. There's no way CNN is profitable. No way at all. They haven't been profitable. Think about it. They had all these stupid, I was just reading today about Greg Gutfeld is going on Jimmy Fallon's show. And so they fired Stephen Colbert, and he was losing $40 million. You think Jimmy Kimmel is making any money? Jimmy Fallon? None of these guys are making. It's like CNN, ABC, NBC, they're all the same thing. Then we had one small potato thing called Fox News, and that's it. And yet, there's no way all these guys are making money. No way. I don't think, in fact, I don't think they need to. I think it's beyond money. There's whoever it is funding these guys. They're like, we can lose money. It doesn't matter because we can print, we can do whatever we want. There's just no way a group like CNN is profitable. No way, man. And as such, I don't think they need money. I just don't. I think they can create the money whenever they want and give it to their whatever the narrative they're trying to push of the day. Another St. George Floyd or anything like that. They can push whatever narrative they want. Let's see. We were notified that our broker's custodian column was being bought out by LPL. I went and looked at it. Had the DI and green crap in there. Oh, God. A little bit charged up today. I'm here. What I missed, probably nothing yet because it takes Josh about a half hour to get warmed up. And I'm already amped, says Freddie. I think his wife swapped coffee. He has caffeine in his system today. Actually, I don't. But anyway. I managed a slew of male software engineers who made less than me. What a joke. By the way, software engineers and that are going the way of the dodo bird, I've been told. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you know people, tell them not to study that. All right, so a couple of stuff that was interesting. So Wellington, BlackRock, they all suck. That's all there's to it. There's not anything you can do about it. All right, so one thing I wanted to do, I was going to come over here because my man Sergio, Act Blue, exactly. Act Blue takes care of them all, and that's we'll see. We'll see. I mean, USAID, we'll see. I'm not. Jill's a lot more confident in this than I am. I don't think so. I think they got unlimited money supply. They can do everything. But that's the nice thing about Vanguard. At least Vanguard is true to making middle-class people keep their money as opposed to, Wellington and freaking BlackRock and all these other scumbags. So they all suck. All right, anyway, so one thing as my man Sergio had proposed to me, he says, Josh, you could take a reverse mortgage line of credit, use that income, and then turn around and defer Social Security until you're 70. And then the reverse mortgage line of credit that you don't use, that goes unused, is growing at a 7 to 7.5% clip. I said, that's interesting. So let me show you an example of this. I thought this was pretty doggone cool to me. All right, so we're going to go over here. And I just don't get why people's initial reaction to this is they're evil, they're bad. So what we're going to do, we got a 62-year-old person. He's got a $500,000 house, all right? 62, $500,000 house. House is paid off. He's going to take a lump sum of $79,000 and a growing line of credit at $65,000 after the first year. All right, so of his $500,000 equity, he's only going to be able to borrow 65 plus 80 divided by 500. It's like 30. He can only borrow about 30%, it looks like, because he's so young, 62. So he's going to spend this down over the next until Social Security kicks in. All right, so that will give him $79,575. He could borrow. So if we amortize that over 8 years, 79 divided by 8, that'd give him about $800 a month. A little bit less than $800 a month. All right, no, about $800 a month. Yeah, that's what it'd be. Just about $800 a month. He could take $800 a month off this line of for the basic lump sum. He'd take $800 a month. He could take it all as a line of credit too, but we're just going to use this for example here because I want to show you in right capital. And allow this line of credit to grow at 7.11. So by the time he is 70, he's got a $65,800 line of credit, zero payment, is growing at 7.11 as current interest rates for 8 years. That line of credit will be worth about $114,000 by the time he's 70 years old. All this is tax-free. All this is tax-free. All right, a home equity line of credit, we don't want that, and he doesn't have to tap into it. So let's show what that looks like in right capital here. Am I showing this? Yeah, right there. Yeah, because Dave Ramsey will flip out. Wellington is his own. They basically Vanguard subcontracts to Wellington essentially. Vanguard subcontracts. Wellington is, and Wellesley is part of Wellington too, by the way, just FYI. And I guarantee, though, if you met the people who work at Wellington, I guarantee the vast majority are going to be just regular, good old-fashioned, regular dudes, upper crust, good people. They probably all went to elite schools, I grant you, but they're not woke. I guarantee. They say, they're probably upper, whatever the upper northeastern Massachusetts those kind of type of people. Very thorough, very prompt, very waspish. I guarantee they're all wasps. But for some reason, they've allowed themselves to be taken over by insane people. That's for sure. All right. So anyway, let's keep going here. I want to show you. So I said in my using Diane's sample. So we're going to come over here. I said, let's use Diane's sample. And we're just going to, for simplicity, what we're going to do is we're going to have her taking a loan, and we're going to borrow that $79,000, all right? And her interest rate on that is 7.5. Now, I can't figure out how to model a reverse mortgage line of credit. So I'm not sure they got a home equity line of credit, but I can't figure out how to model a reverse mortgage line of credit in Bright Capital. So I'm not sure you can. So you're just going to have to believe me when I say that line of credit that's at $65,000 growing at 7.11 will be worth $114,000 by the time Diane's sample is 7 years old. So then the question is, well, how much will this be? $79,000. All right. So Diane's sample has a house that's worth, let's just put $500,000 in there. Right there. All right. There we go. And so we're going to go to retirement, and we're going to show you what her the value of that mortgage will be in 8 years. So we're going to go over here to cash flows. And we're going to go to net worth. All right, so in 8 years, her $500,000 is worth $633,000, her house value, because it's growing at 3%. Her mortgage now, that initial $79,000 she borrowed is growing at 7.5. It'll be worth $158,000. So you can see her equity is still at 467. All right, her equity initially is 417, but equity is growing. Isn't that interesting? The equity is growing, even though the house is only growing at 3%, but the mortgage is growing at 7.5%. Well, because the mortgage is so much lower. This is like Social Security and Medicare. The mortgage amount is so much lower than their equity. You're only getting 7.5% on this amount, but you get 3% on this whole amount. I hope that makes sense. The whole 500,000 is growing at 3. The mortgage in of itself, the reverse mortgage, is growing at 3.5, but the reverse mortgage is worth less than one fifth of this. And so you can see it's going to 478, 483. At some point, right here, when she's 79 years old, the interest rate will start, because it's still much higher than 3%. You can see that the equity starts dropping off here. So the equity went from 493 to 79. So this is in 2042, 17 years, 493 to 492. So it's going to take 17 years in this one scenario. At 7.5, when it actually is probably 7.11, but I just want to point that out. It's not like the equity isn't growing. The equity is still growing because the value of the home is significantly more than the value of the loan against it. And by the time she dies at 95 years old, and we're talking 33 years from now, right? Yeah, 33. She has 1.3 million is her value of the home, and the mortgage at this stage is worth 1.173. So she's got about $150,000 of net worth still when she dies. And that's without anything else being included. I just wanted to point that out, that the mortgage itself doesn't even catch up. I mean, she's got more equity almost right here than she did when she had no mortgage on it. And again, I mean, is that good or bad? It doesn't matter. It just is. But the point about it, people say, "Oh, you're going to give away your home. You're going to lose your access. You're going to lose your net worth." You just don't. Yeah, it's just you don't. Now, could you? Well, sure. She's 95 years old. She's got that probably probably 3 or 4 more years with the value of the debt take over. Probably not. Maybe 3 or 4 years. And probably the value of the mortgage would overcome the value of the home. Doesn't matter. She can stay there until she's dead, even if she's upside down, or she could, literally, she could die even if she's upside down. Doesn't matter. Now, if she sells it, she has to come up with a difference if there's a negative, if she's upside down. But why would you do that? Anyway, so that's one interesting thing. And again, we didn't model anything else here. It's just modeling that. Now, if we use a home equity line of credit to go along with it, by the time she's 70 years old, she has this mortgage outstanding, but she also has a line of credit of, I forgot what I said, $114,000 that she can tap into tax-free if the markets go south. All right. And so if the markets go south and you don't want to take your dollars out, but they're down 20 to 25%, you can tap in your reverse mortgage line of credit. Pretty good Social Security bridge, in my opinion. And on top of it, allows you to grow your home equity line of credit as well. So your reverse mortgage line of credit as well. Vanguard's customer service sucks. Yeah, see if you can find any financial. Yeah, no one's going to have a BDS policy in a financial institution. We all know why. I haven't noticed anything from Fidelity on DEI. Well, it's because the Johnson family is pretty right wing. Who owns Fidelity? Woody Johnson. They're not left wing. That's who could. Fascinating says, "Who can live off $800 a month? I'm just using that to show you how it works." Fascinating says, "Where's healthcare?" Oh my goodness, Fast Eddie, come on, man! Some of these comments there are going. Some of the comments I've seen on my channel today, I'm just like, like the video I did last night, which didn't get many views, but I knew it'd get some negative Nellies about covered call income strategies. I'm like, oh my goodness. People like, "Josh, you can't do a covered call, sell a call option, only one share." I'm like, oh my goodness. It was an example to make it simple. The covered call, you get $98 a premium on a price of a stock that's $555. We could say you get $9,800 on a premium on the price of 100 shares that cost $55,000. Why do that when I can just show you on using one share? I was like, I got 3 comments on that. I was like, are people this dumb? Really that dumb? They don't see that. I remember, who was it? I think it was Tom. I don't think it's Tom here. I don't think so. I did a thing showing that if someone retired in 1926 with $1 million, but you could take out 8% or whatever it was. And Tom's like, who had $1 million in 1926? It's like, oh my goodness. It's the percentage. The percentage is not the dollar amount. We could do if someone retired with $100 in 1926, he could take out 8% or whatever the percentage was. Had nothing to do with the dollar amounts. Had to do with the percentage. Oh my goodness. I feel like Cartman when he says he can't go to Casa Bonita. He's like, why? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Johnson family's definitely right. Yeah, it's definitely easy to move to Fidelity. I like, man. The one I was talking to my man today or yesterday, I said, like, I like Vanguard because I cut my teeth there. I'm a huge John Bogle fan. John Bogle died with a net worth of like 20 to 50 million. The Johnson family has a net worth of billions. That kind of pisses me off. But with that said, the Johnson family is using their wealth to advocate at least regular good causes, where the Vanguards or the BlackRocks, the Larry Stanks, the freaking State Street clowns, they're advocating bad policies. So at the end of the day, just because the Johnson family has billions of dollars, at least that's one multi-billionaire is using their money for good. And there's very few. So I actually like Fidelity. I like Vanguard, but Fidelity be painless. Absolutely. A big fan, 100%. And Fidelity, Fidelity took it on the chin. The Vanguard beat them. Fidelity did not think Vanguard's index funds would ever work, and they did. And now Fidelity has his own index fund. So, they learned. They took it on the chin, and they learned from it for sure. It'd be very easy to transfer your assets, 100%. All right. So that's one thing I thought was pretty interesting. And then I said I wanted to use my man Daniel Klober's 55e.co stuff. Am I still on here? Yeah. All right. Sweet. And so that's all I was just using for a bridge. I just wanted to use a bridge to try to maximize Social Security. It's just something I think about. I'm not saying you got to do that or anything. I will tell you right now, when I'm 62, I'm doggone taking a home equity line, reverse mortgage line of credit, so I can get that growth at 7%, 7.5%, 6.5%, whatever it is at the interest rate at that time, to grow, so that way when the markets collapse, I don't need to sell stocks. You see what I'm saying? And it also gives you the ability not to carry so much cash as well. All right. So just remember, just because you have a line of credit doesn't necessarily mean you have a debt. It just means you have what's called a deed of trust. That means they get first dibs when estate settles. So if there's no loan against, there's a loan against, it's called deed of trust. But if there's no balance against it, all you got to do is say, hey, my dad, we're selling the house. I need you to release a deed of trust. You no longer have a lien on this property. That's it. Yeah, I doubt Fidelity is going to actually speak clearly on that, Matt. I can't imagine. If you're a call center rep and all those calls are recorded, I can't imagine a call center rep's going to be like, hey, we're crazy lib. I just don't see that. I can't imagine that. Well, it ain't you, Harry. It's your wife who keeps your money. So I hope you feel good about that. But anyway, so I can't. All right, here we go, Fast Eddie. No, it's about $20,000, dude. It's about 20,000. Well, don't quote me on that. I mean, but it's more than $6,000 to $7,000 for sure. That's where they get all the people like, so expenses are high. I'm like, all right, well, when you refinance a mortgage, the expenses are high too. And that's the thing. This me too. I don't own Wellington I used to own Wellington. I don't own it anymore. But the issue is that at the end of the day, it's almost like a business that operates two sets of books. One set of books is for the IRS. The other sets of books is for reality. And as such, the Wellington and Wellesley funds are operated. Because I used to have a client, sort of a client. I didn't manage his money or anything, or we didn't. But we did a lot of estate planning with him, and he was very active in Wellington, and he a white shoe guy, great guy, 5 kids, good. He might have been Irish Catholic. He might not have been WASP. He might have been Irish Catholic. I can't remember. But he's an elite guy for sure. And I don't know if he's still. I can't remember his name. I don't know if he's still there or not. But at the end of the day, I think they have one set of books to appease the powers that be, if you know what I'm saying, and then another set of books to make sure that their funds are being run well, I think. Because Denise did a deep dive when I first was pissed off at Wellington. I said, I can't believe you guys are falling for this freaking woke crap. I could not believe it. I said, man, I can't believe this. And Denise did a deep dive a couple years later. She goes, Josh, I looked at a lot of their press releases, a lot of this, a lot of their trading. They haven't done anything differently than they've always done. And I said, that made me feel pretty good. So Denise said, look, they're not prioritizing green energy. They're not doing. I said, okay. Well, Wellington could be too conservative. It's got 35% bonds, 100%. So that inherently that could be too conservative. And the stocks are usually blue chip on the value oriented side. So yeah, it could be. Conservative is good in a retirement portfolio, as we saw in 2001, in 2000, 2001, even in 2002. Conservative is good. Yeah. How much it costs to refi your house, Fast Eddie? Look, I'm not here to convince people to do reverse mortgage. I really don't care. I just think the idea of 20,000 for closing costs being outside this, out of this world. I'm like, well, how much did it cost to refi? I didn't pay anything. Okay. I didn't pay. My reverse mortgage was free. It's kind of like I hear people all the time say, my variable annuity has no fees. I'm like, oh, they just did it for, they're altruistic, huh? No, I pay no fees. Okay. I don't hear that anymore. I used to hear that back in my brokerage days when I say, man, you got this variable annuity. And I compare a variable annuity to the S&P 500. I say, how come your variable annuity is significantly lower than the S&P 500 in terms of performance over the last 5-10 years? And you can see they're like, and I say, because of fees, man. Now, I always said, look, the fees in of itself don't mean it's bad. I mean, like the fee on a reverse mortgage, you got to pay a fee. Doesn't mean it's a bad. The fees on variable annuities might not be bad if you're going to use it to turn on the income stream. If you're not going to use the fees, then it's bad. Yeah, I freaking love tariff money to bolster Social Security. I'm such a huge fan of tariffs, guys. I love tariffs. I think they're fantastic, 100%, unequivocally. And I think the Republicans should keep going on this without question. I'm a huge fan of tariffs. So yeah, absolutely. Tariff money bolsters Social Security. I freaking love it. What I would do on top of that is I would tax the Johnson family, all these rich billionaires. I'd say, hey man, at the end of the day, you're no longer going to get charitable deductions to finance the Gates Foundation, to finance the Ford Foundation, to finance the Rockefeller Foundation, to finance all these foundations. No, these are not charitable deductions anymore. You're going to have to pay tax just like any other business, man. I'd make universities pay property tax. Why are we giving exemptions to left-leaning organizations? Why? All these universities are so far left. Why do they get no property tax? They pay no property tax. They don't have to pay any income tax. Why? I'm too cheap to sign up for reverse mortgage. No, I get it. Well, the thing is, Harry, I mean, many of you guys don't need to. That's the issue. I will, because I don't have $1 billion. I've said this a million times. I don't. The biggest asset I have is the equity in my home. And as such, I don't, I'm going to need another emergency fund because I plan on being pretty heavy in stocks, because stocks give you the growth engine that you need. And I'm still bullish on stocks. I mean, I think I only give you a 6% rate of return on stocks when I'm using right capital, because I don't think we're going to get the earnings growth that we've had, for the last basically 50 years or so. Well, actually previous that, but I think we'll get lower earnings growth because I'm a John Bogle advocate or acolyte. We have earnings growth plus dividend yield. That's your stocks. Now you got to add something else to that, which Bogle didn't have back in his initial formula in 1998, which would be stock buybacks. But either way, earnings growth plus dividend yield and or stock buybacks, that's your rate of return. I don't expect huge earnings growth because I expect we're going to go more and more to deflationary times. And as such, the population is getting older. We know what happens to old people. They don't spend as much money. It's just fact. That's just a fact. And so they don't spend as much money. There's not as much consumption going on. Not as much consumption means there's not as much GDP growth, which is fine by me. And that means there'll be less growth, less earnings growth, 100%. Less earnings growth means less returns on stocks, especially the PE ratios as high as they are now. They're not nosebleeds by any stretch of the imagination, but they are high, relatively speaking, historically. Their PE ratios are high. That does not mean you sell everything. No, it doesn't mean anything like that. It just means at the end of the day, the price earnings ratios are quite high relative to historical norms. It doesn't bother me in the least. But to expect high PEs where we are today and low earnings growth, that you get high rates of return on stocks, you might. I just don't buy it. I don't. And as such, I think at the end of the day, we're going to have low rates of return on stocks relative to historical. And that's why you run in right capital. Low rates of return on stocks, moderate rate of return on bonds historically. We're probably not going to get a 5.5% 10-year treasury anytime soon. But hey, 4.5 10-year treasury, I'll take that. 3.5 to 4% on money markets, I'll take that. So we get 4.5% on 10-year treasuries, 3.5% on money markets, 6% on stocks. I'll take that too. I'll take that to the bank. You know what I'm saying? And if we get a little bit greater on that, more power to us. But anyway, at the end of the day, that doesn't sound like much difference. You're like, why not even be in stocks? Because stocks compound, bonds are fixed. This is the whole thing that's very frustrating me. People say, well, stocks will only give you 1.5% rate of return higher, but they give you 3 times the standard deviation. Why would you be in stocks? Because it's not 6% each and every year. It's 6% compounding Bonds and cash are fixed. They're fixed income. They don't compound. It's kind of like the delayed earnings credits on Social Security. Yeah, my man Sergio, right on. Let's see what Sergio says about reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages allow you to preserve an asset with an 8 to 10% opportunity cost at the expense of a home with an opportunity cost of 3 or 4%. I don't know what that means. You're gonna have to spell it out for us people here in the real world. Sergio's in California, so the California elites, they can't speak like us regular people. I've been monitoring Canadian YouTubers. 90% of the comments are crucifying Carney. He sold them. Oh, was that you pretend to be Carney? Okay. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, Ted. Sorry. I thought it was like literally a guy named Mark Carney. I forgot Carney was the Prime Minister of Canada. So I guess that just went over my head. Ted's weak ass attempt at humor went right over my head. He sold them a bill of goods to be able to negotiate with Trump during his campaign. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think the elections up there are any more legitimate than our elections down here. But no, I am going to downsize. But so if we downsize to a house, it's worth half, I still won't have a debt on it, and as such, I'm still going to take reverse mortgage line of credit. So, whenever Charlotte and I downsize our home, it'll be equity free, mortgage free. And so let's just say we downsize to a $500,000 house. I know, oh my goodness, you're so wealthy or so elite or whatever. So you got 4 kids, man. I mean, give me a break. Anyway, so if we downsize to a 3-bed, 2-bath or something like that, single floor house, it's $500,000. I'm just throwing it out there. I still take reverse mortgage line of credit on that puppy, absolutely, because I like that growth of the 7% rate of return on that I can tap into when the markets go south. And if the markets go south, I don't want to sell stocks. I'll be primarily in stocks. Why? Because stocks are the growth engine. Stocks compound, bonds fixed. That's such a, man, I got to do a video on this tomorrow. It's such an important thing to know. That's why you see a stock, these old Ibbotson stock charts, and stocks, bonds, stocks, bills, SBBI, stocks, bills, bonds, inflation. That's what it was. And what you'll see is the stocks just growing. They're kind of steady, and the stocks just grow like this at a clip because it's the compounding growth that's happening. Fixed income doesn't have compounding. Fixed income is just fixed. Hey, John Benedict on Facebook. I got 1 guy on Facebook, 90 guys on Heritage Wealth Planning, 36 on Josh Scanlon, and 26 on Twitter or X. Thank you, guys. I will invest the rest of my equity. Yes, absolutely, 100%. 100%. I would invest the rest of my equity. Absolutely. Yeah, look, I'm still going to keep some cash. Don't get me wrong. I mean, cash. I still like the barbell. 100%. But I plan on. I'm not taking Social Security till I'm 70, because my wife's 4 years younger. She didn't make much money because she stayed home to raise the children. Now she does a data processing for a local school district for the health insurance, and she'll make crap, but it does give us good health insurance. That's good. I wish she didn't, but she's too damn stubborn to listen to me, so she does what she wants to do. But hey, we'll take the money. Anyway, so what happens here is when we retire, Charlotte and I, we're going to be living off our cash from the proceeds of the sale of the home. Absolutely. Allowing my Roth and my brokerage account, which are all heavy in VTI. I still have a couple bonds, don't get me wrong, but all heavy in VTI, allowing the cash to just grow. The stocks to hopefully grow like a weed. Take Social Security at 70, then my cash might be exhausted, and then I'll live off my stocks and my Social Security, and it's all tax free. And if I need to tap into it, I'll tap into my reverse mortgage line of credit. 100%, and that's exactly right. 80% of Canadian goods fall under the what replaced the NAFTA. Steel, aluminum, copper. The tariffs are going to cost them 100%. Steel, aluminum, copper is where we need the tariffs. 100%, Andrew, you're crushing. I could not agree more. The reason we have tariffs isn't to punish. I mean, you got to punish idiots, I get you, but it's to create domestic self-sustainability. I can't understand why people don't get this. It's the weirdest thing to me. I'm like, dude, we can't rely on foreign entities for stuff we need to make our country work. We can't. Magnets, for instance, steel, large power transformers. We cannot rely on these from any other country, especially if a country is our enemy economically, i.e. China. We can't. We have to be self-sufficient. If that means it costs us more money to be self-sufficient, so be it. It costs you more money to grow your corn than it does to buy from freaking imported from Costa Rica. But you want to buy imported corn that could be grown with all kinds of crap, or you want to have your own corn? You know what I'm saying? Now, some people want to buy it cheaper. That's fine. I get it. That's cool. I got no problem with that. Now, hell, I do sometimes too. But at the end of the day, you can always replace your corn or a corn with something else that's locally grown. All right. That's what's called substitution effect in economics. You can't do that with large power transformers, magnets, all this other stuff we need. It's just steel as a whole. We can't replace it. There's nothing to replace it with. Yeah, exactly. Canada can only 100%, man. Absolutely. So you are just getting a line of credit that'll be growing debt on your house and only take it's not a growing debt. I mean, there's no debt on it. That's the issue until I borrow against it. So there's no balance. All right. So even if the line of credit is $500,000, my house is worth $500,000. It's my house still, my net worth is still $500,000 because I owe nothing on that line of credit. It's no different than a home equity line of credit. A home equity line of credit, if you have a $100,000 line of credit, you have no balance on it, you haven't hurt your net worth at all. You still have the positive net worth because just because you have it's like a credit card. Just because you have a $25,000 credit card limit, if you only borrow $5,000 on it, you have $20,000. Yes, but that's not it doesn't go against your net worth. So freaking magnets, how they work. Look at John W. Look at John. I haven't seen you around these parts for a while there, guy. Look at you. Look at you. How dare you have light eyes? Don't you know that's racist to have light eyes? Your genes. One of the problems of people's downsides, and they just go to a smaller house, but one that costs that's the 100%. So for us, if we're going to downsize, it can't be around here because there's no downsizing here and keep our house. It's just not in terms of the townhouses. Just where we just got pizza today, for instance. Cost more than this house, you know what I'm saying? And that wouldn't make any sense. We have to move to a cheaper area for sure. A lot of that depends on the kids. So does it just for the closing costs? Yes, because 100%. So the reverse mortgage line of credit costs more for closing than a home equity line of credit. Absolutely, 100%. Significantly more. I mean, you can get a home equity line of credit for $150 or something. Maybe $2,000 for an appraisal and all that. I downsized. So yeah, Harry used to live in Tejas, and he downsized to Oklahoma. Yes, 100%. I got a home equity line of credit too. But remember, a lot of people don't understand. So home equity line of credit. I know you do, John, but a lot of people think a home equity line of credit is the same thing as a reverse mortgage line of credit. It's just not. Home equity line of credit, you actually have to make payments back. It's just a fact. Reverse mortgage line of credit, you don't. There's no payments. So that's just a fact. Sell the house, move to a lower cost locale with reasonable rents, and put up the profits of the house with Vanguard Ginnie Mae funds. A small apartment is good for a married couple. Yeah, no, 100%, man. I get it. Absolutely. I got no problem with that. None whatsoever. I doubt we'll end up doing that, because we want a big enough place to encourage the kiddos to come visit us. But yeah, that's look, no problem with that at all. Yeah, 100%. Every dollar, and this is a big deal. Every dollar you invest is every dollar you spend from your reverse mortgage is a dollar you don't pull from your portfolio and can leave invested for longer term growth. And remember, I just can't stress this enough. If this is where I always say too, if you're doing, like I was talking to a guy today, a couple pensions, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. No, this guy had today lots of real estate income. Absolutely, he can be aggressive in his portfolio. His real estate income is his annuity, essentially. It's an annuity. His Social Security and his real estate income are more than enough for him to spend. Now, he can always spend more if he wants to, but at the end of the day, he doesn't need to be too conservative on his investments because he has this income coming in from annuities, essentially, Social Security and real estate. And so why would you be conservative if you have pensions and annuity, and in this case, not pensions, but annuity income from real estate? You can afford to be more risky if you have other sources of income. I can't stress this enough. And risky, on any given 2 to 3 year time frame could doom you if you don't have a secondary source to pull money from. But if you just look historically, if you can avoid the 2 to 3 year trap where you're pulling a crap load of money out of your portfolio and let it just sit there, the compounding growth of stocks is just. I mean, just going back to Rule 72. If you got a 10% rate of return, your money doubles every 7.2 years. But that's because it compounds. That's because it compounds, all right? Compounding, if you got a 10% simple rate of return, all right, your money doubles every 10 years. And then, that's just how it works. So if you got it's the same thing with delayed earnings credits. They're simple. They're not compounding interest. But the COLAs on Social Security are compounding. Why? Because you get a 2.5% COLA. You get a 2.5% COLA on the amount that you got last year too. It compounds on each other. You see, that's kind of confusing for a lot of people. No. If you got a 2.5% adjustment in your Social Security, next year you'll get a 2.5% adjustment in your Social Security on top of the 2.5% adjustment you already got. That's compounding. Delayed earnings credits, waiting until take Social Security at 70, you don't get compounding. It's 888. It's 24%. That's it. Whatever your PIA is times 24. That's it. That's what you get. But the compounding nature of the COLAs is a big deal. Compounding nature of stocks is a big deal. You don't get compounding in fixed income. It's impossible. A lot of people think you do. You don't. Because bonds work, just all they do is they pay you a fixed rate of return. You're going to get your coupon. The coupon is not a compounding rate of return. It's just a simple interest. There's no two ways around that. And if I get 6% compounding and a 4% simple, I know that doesn't seem like that big of a difference, but over each and every year, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why stocks are so beneficial, because stocks have an unlimited upside, by the way, and a very limited downside. Stocks can go literally to the moon, like Neil Armstrong going 25,000 miles an hour. What? Which is 33 times the speed of sound? Human beings went 33 times the speed of sound, huh? That doesn't seem weird. That's definitely probably could happen. Human beings went $25,000 an hour in those monkey suits from 1969. Where just a year and a half previously, Gus Grissom and the boys said we can't communicate to the tower because we have a building between us. What? That seems kind of crazy. But Josh, don't you know, if they didn't go to the moon, it's a conspiracy. How would the Russians not have let us in on the secret? Where were you doing COVID? I'm just curious, because during COVID, for some reason, every single country and their mom all got behind the vaccines, all said these are safe and effective. But there's whistleblowers. There were. What happened to the whistleblowers? I'm just throwing out. Remember that guy in New York State, in New York City? He was a ER doctor. He's saying, "Look, man, we're putting these people on ventilators. It's killing them." It's a slingshot effect. Oh God! They still went 25,000 miles an hour. 25,000 miles an hour, slingshot effect or not. That human beings went 25,000 miles. You can call it whatever you want. They still went 25,000 miles an hour, 33 times the speed of sound. Crazy. No, I get it. Borrowing, we don't want you to borrow to be freaking a spendthrift, 100%. Dave Ramsey, for some reason, is against whole life insurance and reverse mortgages. I don't know why. He thinks reverse mortgages put you out of your home. They don't. You cannot lose your house because of a reverse mortgage any more than you could lose your house if you had no mortgage on it, if you did not pay your property tax. All right. You could lose your house with a reverse mortgage if you didn't pay your property tax. In the same way, you could lose your house if you didn't pay your property tax in a house that has no mortgage. That's just a fact. The idea that some freaking sheriff is going to come knock on your door, putting granny out because you have a reverse mortgage is so freaking stupid. He's going to put you out because you didn't pay your property tax. You'll be evicted by the sheriff. That has nothing to do with the reverse mortgage. The reverse mortgage is just a tool, no different than a firearm. It's neither good nor bad. That's all there is to it. So the tool is, there it is. I can use the tool for good. I can use the tool for bad. Just don't pay your property tax, reverse mortgage or not. See what happens. The county's going to knock on your door. And they're going to put you out. They're going to auction off your house. So he thinks they'd put you out. Now, I think in some regard, I think he's probably right in this regard. I think he says it allows people to be more spendthrifts than they would be. I completely agree with that. Not on my channel. I don't have people like that. And this channel is not for spendthrifts. I guarantee the vast majority of people on this channel aren't driving fancy schmancy good time rock and roll cars that they borrowed 100% against with an 8% loan. I guarantee. All right. So as such, that's not an issue for me or you guys. But if you're some clown, you're like, I got to keep up with the Joneses. I got to have a Rolex. I got to show that I made it in life, and I got to drive a new, blah blah blah. Yeah, then reverse mortgage is probably not for you because you're going to spend money that it'd be writing checks that your butt can't cash. So we don't want that. And I think Dave Ramsey, the level of people he sees comes across in his his show says people are spending too much. We want to basically take away the keys from the children. And the keys are more debt. So for his position, I completely concur with that. What I'm saying, if you're not disciplined enough to contain your spending, you don't need more debt. You don't need a line of credit. You don't need a credit card. You don't need a reverse mortgage. Completely agree with that. But the reverse mortgage in of itself isn't what's going to say. Like my mom tried to get a reverse mortgage. She doesn't have any control over spending, none whatsoever. It's very, very frustrating to me. But she thought about doing a reverse mortgage just so she had more cash flow. And why? Why do you need? Because some people are addicted to spending, man. That's all there is to it. So, I have got a HELOC. Well, HELOC doesn't necessarily put the bank in first. You can have a home equity line of credit subordinate to the first too. So just keep it that. So with a home equity line of credit, you can have a home equity line of credit subordinate to your first mortgage, which is what I have. So my first mortgage to the Penn Fed. I guess my second mortgage is with Penn Fed too. My second mortgage by HELOCs. But I've had a case where I've had Navy Federal issued my first and Penn Fed issued my second. USA issued my second. Somebody. So the HELOC, you don't have to be first on the HELOC. On a reverse mortgage, absolutely, you have to be first position. It cannot be a subordinate on a first mortgage, on a reverse mortgage, 100%. So if you go on a reverse mortgage, you can't maintain a secondary, a first note. The reverse mortgage company will be primary. It will not be subordinate. And that might not mean something to many of you guys, but for me, the old banker in me, it says you can't be subordinate in a reverse mortgage. They will never do that. But HELOC, you certainly can. Yeah, what I'm saying. We took Ramsey's financial peace thing. My wife and I just kind of looked at each other and winked. We don't need envelopes or cash. We do a spreadsheet. Some people do, though. And the stories of people falling the Dave Ramsey stuff are legendary. So, I'm not here to criticize the guy. I just think the idea that whole life is a scam, reverse mortgages are a scam is crazy. It's just there's no evidence of that. All right. So, let's see what else. Yeah, Honda Accord right there. 2017 Honda Accord. Yeah, man. You'll never get rid of that car. You don't pay property tax anymore. Yeah, because you live in a condo or a thing. He likes term because his conglomerate sells it. Well, there's something to be said about finish the ER doc. Yeah, right against Dave Ramsey is against annuities too. All right, so anyway, their ER doctor, I forgot his name, but he was ER doctor in New York City, and they're putting all these people on ventilators. It's like, this is killing people. We got to take them off ventilators. This is when the whole thing the pandemic just started. And then they basically banned him to the mailroom, essentially. He did YouTube videos, and YouTube made him taking down his videos, the whole thing. He's like, this isn't, and he's not a conservative, I'm telling you right now. I thought it was a joke at first, man. I was like, this guy freaking sucks, because because I'm sure he's big on vaccines and stuff, but I'll never forget. It's like, man, he's calling out the ventilator Nazi. He's like, dude, this isn't helping. It's hurting. People are dying because they're putting everybody on a ventilator. And then his hospital just said, you can't do that. Take down your YouTube channel. YouTube took it down. They put him basically in their version of the mailroom. It's freaking disgusting. Crazy. All right. So anyway, last thing I wanted to kind of go over here. So we did the reverse mortgage stuff as a way to wait. And then I'm just going to use my man Daniel Kuhlberg's 55e.co again, which I'm such a huge fan of. And you guys should, if you don't have this spreadsheet, I got ass ended in my new truck last week. Tractor trailer hit me in rush hour bumper to bumper traffic, man. Ooh. All right, so let's look at Daniel Kuhlberg. So I'm just going to do a brief thing on Daniel Kuhlberg's bucket strategy right here. Buy term and invest the rest. The problem is no one invests the rest, and that's the issue. So Dave Ramsey's buy term and invest the rest. It makes sense, but no one invests the rest. They just don't. Especially Dave Ramsey's group of people. They're looking for ways to spend. Anyway, so in this case, you can see we got tons of different strategies that we can use here. We got the reverse RMD. We got the fixed withdrawal type RMDs, reverse RMD, inflate, just a million different things. We got tons of different funds. The adjust this for 2020. Yeah, got 2024. Oh, sweet. He did. He updated this just today, as a matter of fact. Sweet. Good job, Daniel. And this is at 55e.co. This is a bucket strategy spreadsheet. Did he update this for 2024? Yeah, sweet. Yay. And it's just there's so much stuff to do in this thing. It's so fantastic. This is probably my favorite software of all time. So just give an example. If you did the S&P 500, we're just going to use a 5% withdrawal amount. And we're going to go back to 1926, right there. And we're just doing it. We got $1 million in the S&P 500, taking 5% a year out, adjusting it for inflation, right? And we're going to say how many times that run out of money. So we're going to come over here to buckets, and we're excuse me, we're going to come over here to this right here, and we're going to change this around to S&P 500, and we're going to get rid of that guy. We're going to get rid of that guy, and we're going to say 4% a year right there, and right there should work. And we're going to go back to, oops, not that. 1926. All right. And we're going to hit results. And what will happen is he'll have this thing that just runs every single year. Let's see if that works. He just updated. So, hold on a second. Stop sharing. All right. So I got to get this. I got to get it updated. So I don't have the script. Hold on, so that's not going to work. But let me just show you one of the things I've done on this with this script. Hang tight, amigos. Hang tight. There we go. I think he just authorized me. There we go. Sweet. Yeah. So here. Yeah, I got a 2013 Toyota Highlander, 140,000 miles on it. Still runs like a charm, 100%. So here you can see what's going on here. This is freaking fantastic. So he's running all. So again, I've taken. I got $1 million. It's only 40,000. I thought I did 50,000. Did I not do 50,000? I thought I did 50,000. Oh, I did 4. Shit, I screwed that up. Let me hold a second. Boink. There we go. Stop this. How do I stop it? All right, well, I guess we're running 4%. So, because even with just the S&P 500, going back to 1926, we ran out of money right there. That's when we started in 1929. All right, you can see this is 4% a year adjusted for inflation, $1 million S&P 500. No bonds, no nothing. Look at this, 4% just on the S&P 500. You see any other red? We're going to see some red down here in the 1960s. Started 1965, 66. You're going to see a bunch of red. 68, 69. And that's it. That's it. Isn't that crazy? 73. Isn't that crazy? You got taken 4% a year just from the S&P 500. Ran out of money. And year 30, year 23, year 25, 25. So basically, no time did you run out of money before basically 25 years are up. And you only ran out of money 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times. 6 times from 1926 to 2023. That's just with 4%. Now, if we took 5%, it'll be a little bit different. It'll be a little bit worse, but it's not going to be. Watch this. So you can model this like this all day. It's crazy, man. So let me just see. Hold on a second. Yeah, cancel right there. Hold on a second. Boink. All right. Oh, it just started. Oh, there we go. There we go. So watch this. So now we're taking 5% a year adjusted with inflation. And again, show me any time. Oh, that's going back to 4%. I got to stop that. Why is it doing that? No. Stop at 4%. I want 5%. I did right there. That's why I screwed that up. Oh, man. I screwed that up. I want 5%. It used to be able, I could stop that. Stop running the script. Anyway. All right, Pablo's over there having a nightmare. All right, hold on. So let me just change this around. 5% right there. Right there. I got to change it to 5%. 50,000 schmackaroonies. Got changes back to 1926. All right. Settings. Let's go. All right, now let's go back to here. Right there. All right, so the point being is that's with 4% a year adjusted with inflation, just with $1 million in S&P 500. You ran out of money 6 times, and you left a crap load of money. I mean, you left millions and millions and millions of dollars. Buy, term, and invest the rest. Worked for us the last 8 years. Yeah, what I'm saying is, if you do it, it's great, man. If you do it, but a lot of people don't, for sure. So here's 5%. All right, so now we're taking 5% a year out, all from the S&P 500. All right, we're starting in 1926, and we ran out of money in 2 years in the Great Depression, 1 year in 1937, because the markets during the first 2 years of the Great Depression in 1937 were bad, right? You're never going to see him running out of money. I think maybe 1957, I think we might have. But even here, we ran out of money in year 17. That's not good. That's where if you say you put the guardrail on there, man, you put the guardrail on there. 1958, we ran out of money. We're going to run out of money a bunch from the 60s. But watch how many times it's black. Look at all these black. And then you're going to start seeing it run out of money during the 60s, late 60s and early 70s quite a bit. This is 5% a year. Right there, 62, 64, 65, 66, 67. I don't think 68, that was 68 too. So again, these are the inflation years right here where you ran out of money. I just don't expect we're going to have this massive inflation that we had in the past. I just don't expect it at all. So you can see right there, look at that 8-year time frame with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. That 10-year time frame from 1964 to 1973, you ran out of money. 1962, a couple years during the Great Depression, and that is it. That is it. That's with 5% a year. You ran out of money. What's that? 11, 12, 13, 14 times. 14 times. And look how much money you're leaving. Ending balance 18 million, 10 million, 7 million, 14 million. Look at this. 596,000, 1.3. I mean, this is crazy. I'm just like, what? This is the historical rates of return. Oh, here we go. You ran out of money in not right here. 1990. Oh, yeah, well, that's a good point. You did run out of money in these 3 years, too, because you had the S&P 500. So you ran out of money about 15 times out of, I think it's 66. So it was 50, I think it was 66 times, maybe 67. I think it might be 67. 2023 minus 1926. Oh, 97 times. Is it 97? That doesn't sound right. I think it's 67 times. So you ran out of money 18 times out of 67. I got that in my head. You ran out of money 1/4 of the time. That's it. 1/4. If you put some guardrails on there, you're not running out of money. And you have people get crazy. I'm like, dude, that is historical rates of return. I grant you. People really dumb enough to take a set rate without using, no, because people don't actually, that's the thing, Matt. No one actually, no idea, babe. Hold on a second. People actually don't sit there and say, you know something, Josh, I got $1 million. I take 40,000 out this year. Next year, I'm going to take my 40,000 adjust with CPI, 3.6%. I'm going to take whatever that is, and I'm going to take it out on the 1st of January. No one, it just is so, the whole thing is so stupid. You're going to spend your money increasing with inflation. Oh, so CPI is 3.21. You're going to take out 3.21. No, but okay. So basically, it's completely variable. So no one does that. Absolutely. We increase the standard. Well, this is that does assume real inflation, 100%. And if you're using a 3% standard inflation, that's fine. But I talk about that in a video I did not that long ago. The difference between a real inflation and a fixed inflation, quite a big difference. A real inflation, if you use a fixed inflation in the from 1926 to basically 1965, you were taking out way more than inflation was. If you use a fixed inflation from basically 1966 to basically 1989 or so, you took out way less than real inflation. So you just got to keep that in mind. But yeah, right. You got to put the guardrail on it, 100%. All right. I'll get ready to get out of here, my friends. That's Dan Colbert's 55e.co. I'm such a huge fan of that. And I just think more people should get it because it's such a great tool. And if you like spreadsheets, which who doesn't, the vast majority of my clients are engineer types, software engineers, electrical engineers, chemical engineers. It's funny. And engineers, for some reason, love them some spreadsheets. So 55e.co. I'm going to go watch Dune 2 with my son. We watched the first one about a month ago. We're going to go watch the second one tonight. So appreciate y'all being here. No one follows the rules, particularly the Democrats. All right. God bless. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll see you later, alligators. After a while, crocodiles. Toodaloo, kangaroos. All right, Lily.